Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of XDC APAC Podcast. My name is Sonny Mohanty, your host, and also the head of ventures and ecosystem development at XDC Network. So today we have a special guest speaker. He is someone who is associated with the ventures arms of XDC Network, the XVC Tech. So it's a portfolio company of XVC Tech called Trade Together. And we have the founder, Geoff Ira from Trade Together on the podcast today. Hi, Geoff.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sonny. I'm super excited. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Glad to see you. I mean, we've been bumping into each other at SFF and various other events.
Indeed.
Glad to be sitting here today with you to discuss in details about you, Trade Together, and what's the future looks like for Trade Together.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Maybe just start with your introduction, about you and Trade Together.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Geoff Ira. I'm the founder of Trade Together, a Web3 digital asset management platform that was developed in September 2021.
Okay.
What we are doing is pretty simple. We are helping our customers to gain exposure to the Web3 space based on their risk tolerance and risk appetite.
If you were to explain this platform, for example, you are pitching to an investor.
Yeah.
So maybe you would like to know more about this platform. Is it a Web2 platform? Is it a Web3 platform? Or is it somewhere in between?
Thanks for this question, Sonny. We are really an hybrid model, I will say, which takes the best of the Web2 and Web3 space and avenue and infrastructure. The objective of Trade Together is really to help you to ease your journey when it comes to invest in the Web3 space. So from a cybersecurity perspective, to help you to navigate, I will say, all the form of investment that we will curate for you in first place. So all the investment and products that are in our platform have been tested in first place. And the idea is really to help you with your journey to invest in the cryptocurrency space, having a form of projection. So for that, we are doing something pretty simple. We test your risk appetite and risk tolerance each time you go into a product, so that we make sure that you don't have any form of surprise when you invest. And number two, the idea is really to help you, and that's also the point of Trade Together, is really to grow your wealth in the Web3 space in a safe manner.
So you mentioned cryptocurrencies, investing into cryptocurrencies. Let's just talk about that. So what asset classes are listed on your platform? I
will kickstart by saying that we are helping our customers to invest in what we call digital asset. That's the first domain. And the other aspect is what we call tokenized capital market product.
Right.
So we can think of treasury bonds that we tokenize with some of our partners, and also some form of funds in which we're going to have, and you as a client, going to have exposure on corporate bonds. And all these corporate bonds will have a notation and a risk from balanced to conservative all the way to aggressive. And last but not least, you may also have some special requirement, and that's what we call the SMA, Separated Managed Account, where you're going to tell us, Geoff, Trade Together, I like what you do, but I would like to test this, I would like to test that. Can you do this for me? Is it legal to do that? Is it compliant? And if we can help you, we will help you.
I'm just curious to know, who are your investors and the target customers that you're planning to promote these platforms to?
The typical sociology of our clients are mainly high net worth individual, family offices, corporates willing to, I will say, propose some alternative or having alternative exposure to their treasury. And we start to have more and more, Sonny, Gen Z generation who had lots of exposure to the deregulated and decentralized space, and who start to have a fatigue and just want to leave this type of investment to a third party, aka Trade Together. So it's really a range of multi-generation today.
I mean, you originally were from a banking space, right? Yeah. How did this, because obviously now you are working on the Web3 space, but dealing mostly with cryptocurrencies, and it's a risky asset class, as we know, because of the fluctuations and whatever market news that we hear, right? Or we've seen. How did you transition yourself, from that heavily sort of highly regulated space as from a banking sector. You decided like it cannot be like, overnight thing. You must have thought through this, like I'm going to be moving into the Web3 space and my asset classes or that I am planning to launch are cryptocurrencies, which is volatile and sort of risky by nature. How did that mindset transition happen, and how difficult it was or easy it was for you?
I will compare this to the train of life, or the direction that everyone takes with his own life. If we look backward, when I started my career in 2008, 2008 was really an agitated year for the financial industry, a period where it was not easy to say to people that you are a banker, especially in Europe, in France, because there was inefficiencies with the market, with lots of product collapsing, creating a vast incident for the society and for the banking industry in general. You remember 2008 global financial crisis. So if you establish a parallel between 2008, where even with regulated actors, there was lots of incident, when I joined the cryptocurrency space, and it was really in phases. The reality is that we launched officially Together in September 2021, but you're right, Sonny. It was really a process. And I can tell you that when I started my journey, I could find lots of parallels, especially in 2022, with lots of collapse in the cryptocurrency space with 2008. That's obvious. So somehow for me it has been really a journey, a process, and I had to validate personally all these positions that I had to one day transition to be a CEO and founder of Together.
Tell me something about your team, your founding team. How did it all come about?
Yeah, I'm really a risk-adverse person in reality. I'm not this type of person taking risk or gambling, which is paradoxical when you're when you're entrepreneur, because it's lots of risk. So the reality is that my co-founder, Jordan Co, we used to work together already in the banking industry. He was on the cybersecurity space, I was on the risk space. And we were both, I would say, fan and excited about the cryptocurrency space, about the digital asset space. And we had lots of side discussion on the back end, of course. So what convinced me to develop this business with him was an experience live that we faced during the COVID-19 period in 2020 or 2021. I think it was 2020. When we started a call with a cybersecurity specialist at 6 p.m. all the way to 1 a.m. You remember this period, COVID-19? You don't meet people, you speak like crazy on the phone, and you stay forever. And the cybersecurity space sometimes is like Matrix or Inception. If you remember this movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, it's like you open a window, but so long as this window is not closed, potentially you face a risk. An intrusion, a scam, or whatever. When we close that call at 1 a.m. with this cybersecurity specialist to validate the control library of the venture in which I worked at that time, I told myself, okay, if one day I kickstart a business in the Web3 space, I want this guy to be with me.
Yeah, makes sense. Perfect, right?
Yeah. So that's,
So what about capital? That's the next big challenge. So did you bootstrap it?
Yeah.
How did you, start it eventually? Initially.
Again, it's not like Monday you wake up and you're going to fund the capital. It really comes from all the past. What was your journey? Who was the person you met? What trust you have established in your network, in your past experience? It's not necessarily in the professional space. It can be also as volunteer in the private space.
Right.
I have someone in my network. He is part of a very well-known family, and I met her in the private space. There was no, and that person told me, you know what, Geoff, you don't realize, but you know so many people. Thanks to your engagement in various, you know so many people, and they know you since 8 years, they observe you. I'm sure if you contact them one by one, they will give you a little bit to kickstart your business.
Yes.
And That's really how it started.
That's really how it started, right?
That's how it started, really.
The next big challenge is how to go to market.
Yes.
Right? How do you differentiate yourself, or what problems are you solving that they are not solving?
If we go back to 2021, September 2021, there was a couple of, not role model, but a couple of platform and journey of cryptocurrency leader. They were well regarded by all the cryptocurrency industry and even beyond. And some of these actors have disappeared.
Yeah.
When we started to have our first meeting with some investors, it was in Singapore, in the Wall Street of Singapore, near Asia Square, Marina Bay Financial Center, and so on. The first question that they shot on us just after pitching them was, "Oh, so you guys want to be the new Three Arrows? You want to be the new FTX?"
Right.
We are not a hedge fund. We are not a crypto exchange. What we want to do here is to develop a digital asset management platform. We don't want to provide crazy yield, and we don't want to open the gate to millions of tokens. We are in between. What we are proposing is really to help our customers to invest in the crypto space, and therefore we're gonna develop this hybrid platform that you can see on the screen. And this platform is live today. That's what we are scaling today.
I know it's a bad time for you to pitch into investors, but you're quite brave.
Yeah.
What's the most significant obstacle you faced in terms of technology and integration that needs to be resolved?
On the technological aspect, I will say, since we are an hybrid of crypto exchanges and an hybrid of a hedge fund type of a platform, I will say more something comparable to some Web2 platform, those that everyone knows, where you can book some bonds and stocks. I think the major technological obstacle is when you face two worlds. The first one is the world of very savvy and senior technology such as Swift.
Right.
A native new technology which is less than 15 years old, which is blockchain, right?
Yeah.
When you have multiple chains, some of these chains enable smart contract, others don't enable this. And you have this form of interoperability, of bridge, while managing the security that you have to handle. And the reality, Sonny, is that it is easy to manage a US 100 million trade for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clients. It is more difficult to manage 50 million trade for 1,000 clients, right? Because again, it's not just purchasing a token. This technology, we have already reached that stage. We already have mature crypto exchanges. But now when you do that with various chain amongst funds, and also regionally, internationally, you have this type of technological boundaries that you have to manage carefully.
So now that you brought up technology, right, as one of the obstacles that was there, and you managed to overcome that. XDC is a layer 1 chain, as you know. So an XVC Tech is a corporate VC arm of XDC. How did you come about XVC? How did you manage to get XVC into your cap table?
What I like with this new generation of blockchain is that XDC is EVM compatible. So it is your work and your life as entrepreneur when it comes to develop a new wallet, a new type of product into the chain. So XDC Network for that is definitely the next gems, and even for trade finance. The fact that they have already established some agreement with a large European bank and Japanese institution, we all know that. For us, it gave us some form of comfort and confidence in the, I would say, the willingness to develop business with XDC Network. And then I have been amazed by the way XVC Tech has welcomed us. The fact that their consistent portfolio investing in the custody business, because custody is a big element in the cryptocurrency space, regulated one. And also, you guys, XVC Tech has some form of exposure in some crypto investment and index entities. So it is extremely clear that XVC Tech has a vision when it comes to invest in various entities in the cryptocurrency space. And for us, it was a blessing when we discuss with them to have an easy discussion, an easy conversation on the vision. We just share the same vision, so it was for us a no-brainer to engage a conversation and to get finally their investment.
You rightly said XVC and XDC are, I think, we are also running these programs with, you may be aware, the acceleration programs with partners like Plug and Play, where we aim to invest into payments and fintech sort of projects, startups who are going to be eventually deploying their solution onto the XDC network, right?
Super.
So they are a mix of both Web2 and Web3, but yes, Web3 for sure.
I think that XDC Network is the next billion market cap in the cryptocurrency space, and if it was even started in the US, it will be already 10 billion for sure. We all know that it's coming, and I'm pleased to see payment actors coming into XDC Network.
You more coming from XDC as we speak in terms of the payment use cases. So stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure. Please, we need additional payment.
Always payments, right?
Partners. Yes, always payment.
All businesses.
Yeah.
Are you subject to any regulations to operate this platform? Because you are obviously, there's a risk element, because obviously it's digital assets, cryptocurrencies. You have high net worth individuals and who are going to be investing into these digital assets or cryptocurrencies. So you must be obviously wary about regulations. Especially your company is Singapore registered, right?
Yes.
So tell me something about that.
Necessary obstacle was definitely part of our dimension when we started the business. And guess what, Sonny? When we started to pitch in 2021, even before Try Together goes live, some very senior cryptocurrency players in Singapore told us, wow, we love your idea, guys. You are doing something great. But guess what? It will never work in Singapore.
Yeah,
you have to do it outside in an offshore location and so on. But I guess when folks sometimes are telling you something with such type of statement, they also tell you this statement based on their own knowledge, their own limit. Maybe they did not know really my knowledge of the Singapore policy.
Right.
I used to be chief risk officer. I have implemented lots of policies, so I'm aware of the Singapore ecosystem and market. So I think the first thing that we did with my partner, Jordan, was to establish the same form of assessment and work that we will do in a bank, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Whether you're going to look at the policy, you're going to look at the framework, you're going to check even with some lawyers to make sure that what you are doing is not in breach with the law where you operate. And once you feel that you are ready, then you're going to discuss with a regulator to explain exactly your value proposition, what you want to do. And then the regulator will tell you. The regulator is really the person, the institution, the entity capable to tell you yes, no, maybe, have you done this, have you done that. This is how any conversation, at least in Singapore, should start. And guess what? October 2021, just before the Singapore FinTech Festival, which was online, by the way, we obtained the validation to register our fund as restricted schemes to serve accredited investors, institutions, corporates, so long as we don't touch retail customers. And of course, so long as we do KYC, due diligence, and so on. So it's been 3 years now.
Okay, so there is a license there element.
So there is what we call a MIS exemption, where you registered your funds.
Yeah.
And the full license, it comes later. So we actually applied in the beginning of the year. So touch wood, we should get the in-principle approval in a couple of months, if not weeks. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the key element. So, so it's a B2B serving now B2B clients, not retail clients.
B2C because accredited investors, high net worth individuals are human individuals. But we have to verify that they are eligible to the status of accredited investors. If they are not, we can't serve them right now, at least in Singapore.
Is there a minimum amount that we're looking here?
5,000 Singapore dollars, which is pretty okay, in fact, in our market. And
And what's the yield like?
This is where it becomes interesting, Sonny.
I love that.
In Singapore, we have 3 forms of classification of risk for our client. At least that's the one we have adopted. Not everyone is doing this, but that's what we have adopted. From conservative all the way to balanced and aggressive, so aka low, medium, high risk. And we are proposing a range from 4.80, 5%, all the way to 16%. And of course, if you have more appetite and you want to look for more aggressive product, we can always look for more type of juicy product, like we say in the market.
Juicy. What does that mean?
I mean, it depends on the riskiness you want to take.
Right.
And of course, you have to sign a specific disclosure. That's what we call SMA, separated managed account, where we're going to manage a mandate for you, a little bit more aggressive. It won't be for everyone. And the core business of Trade Together is really more some form of reliability and fixed income type of perspective, as opposed to something aggressive like a hedge fund. But we have the skills for that also if one wants us to help with that.
Does that include tokenized assets, or does that also include cryptocurrencies?
Tokenized asset for aggressive type of strategy and juicy yield is not really what we are using. For aggressive strategies, you may look more at derivatives product, spot futures that you're gonna use and mix. I will say to speak simply speaking. While tokenized capital market product and tokenized type of RWA, what everyone say about RWA, will be more on the range of 4.80% all the way to 14%, 15% even sometime. Yeah.
I mean, everybody is now saying the bear, the bull, sorry, not the bear. The bear is gone.
Yeah.
The bull has kicked in.
Yes.
It's going to be a very good market for Web3, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain. I mean, 2025. So obviously, Trade Together is not going to be behind as well. And you'll be making acquiring a lot of users, making a lot of partnerships and further rounds as well, closing further rounds.
Yeah.
So how are you going to accommodate this growing user base as well? So there are 3 questions in one. Roadmap, long-term strategies, and how to manage this growing user base in Web3.
The roadmap for us, Sonny, is really to keep growing the way we serve our customers. And what we realize, Sonny, with our existing client database is that if family offices and high net worth individuals likes our service, Trade Together in the way to help them to invest so that they can go with their own life. We suspect that in the long run, retail customers also need that, because every human being at some point, if they have their own work, they can't spend their time or their daily journey to look at their portfolio. So we definitely have this in our radar to scale, and for that, this signifies that we need to further invest in our tech to enable this. That's number one. Number 2, if we enable this, then you need to look for additional license. And what we are about to secure in Singapore, we want to do the same across APAC, Middle East, and of course Europe. And we are also looking at the US. Now there is a change in administration leadership. Why not potentially regarding the US? Knowing that in our advisory board we have a well-known US investment manager. So That's number one for the roadmap. Then number two, of course, we are looking to move to a Series A once we become fully profitable, and this should arrive pretty much soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's really something we are looking at. And I would say if we want to do that, we need much more Geoff. We need much more Ben and supporter actually. I won't do that just with our team at 10.
Right.
We need to grow for sure, and that's what we are looking for 2025.
Now that you mentioned that you are going to be cross-border, like expanding beyond Singapore.
Yeah.
So what are your some of the strategies you already have factored for that international expansion?
We've been fortunate, thanks to our investors and Trade Together community, to be broadcasted and seen on various media.
Mm-hmm.
In 2024 has been really wonderful for us. We've been in Nasdaq Billboard.
Wow.
We've been on well-known magazines. So I guess it has really enabled lots of reversal marketing, meaning lots of people contacting us to get onboarded, and then we will check whether they will be eligible or not. And I guess we really want to leverage on that, I would say, to keep developing our business, and the more we can get license or permittance to operate, the more we will just go beyond the reversal marketing. So not just someone contacting us, but also contacting the institution in the country where these ladies and gentlemen contact us to discuss with us and to exactly go into the same process as what we did in Singapore.
With XDC, we are headquartered in Dubai, the Dubai DFC Innovation Hub, Emirates Tower, right?
Yeah.
Like we obviously help our portfolio companies to expand if they're looking to expand in Dubai. So that's another way you can you can expand your footprint beyond Singapore to the Middle East market.
Definitely.
That's good to know, because we would also like our portfolio companies to grow beyond borders. When it comes to cryptocurrencies or tokens or tokenization, people talk about native tokens, native coins, meme coins, blah, right? There'd be some investors coming to you asking for meme coins, altcoins, all sort of coins. How do you address those questions? And how do you respond to them? Because, there is a market there for these kind of meme coins as well, right? If you know that they might be based on hype, but still there's a lot of interest, especially from the Gen Zs, right?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that all these generation, it is statistically proven that they have all invested earlier in their life compared to the older generation. I will put myself in this older generation because you look so young. So you're not part of this whole generation.
Don't think so.
But let's be honest, my generation has started to invest in average at the late 20, beginning 30. I was maybe an exception. In my generation, I mentioned that in an article when I said that I invested maybe at 24. But the Gen Z generation today is invest even before. That's the norm.
Not earlier.
That's a norm. So we have to recognize that these tokens, regardless of their intrinsic value, are the biggest commercial product in the Web3 space. Okay, and the Gen Z generation loves them, like the financial institution today loves Bitcoin.
Right.
Huh?
Of course. Yes.
So for the large FI interested in crypto, it will be Bitcoin. For the retail Gen Z, Bitcoin is too expensive, they will go on meme coins. The human beings are what they are. Sometimes some of them are looking to be rich. That's something.
I think we all are. No?
Yeah, in some way or form. we all expect, we all have and they're expecting a fantastic return. So I would say Trade Together's platform is not really fit for this.
Right.
And we have not developed Trade Together for that. There is existing services for that, existing institution for that. However, the Gen Z generation will also age because that's part of the human nature.
Yeah.
Everyone will age. And at some point, there will be a form of fatigue for them. And in the same way that my generation in the past used to download lots of MP3, decentralized peer-to-peer, that was the first experience 20 years ago.
Yes.
And then we started to be tired and we all went to Spotify and all that. So I think as the Gen Z will grow, they will certainly look for tokens having a real intrinsic value. And maybe at that time, Sonny, I'm giving you a scoop.
Yeah.
Maybe at that time, Trade Together token will be live and they will just switch to Trade Together token.
Oh, yes. Are you planning to launch your own coin?
That's something we are looking for at some point. Once we think we have the real tokenomics and once we think we have validated some existing step as part of our roadmap. Once we have reached that stage, we think that there will be a need for a token such as the one that we want to launch.
Right.
So for sure, you will be one of the first informed of that.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Do you invest into any cryptocurrencies or you are only focusing on the capital markets, even though you run a business of tokenized assets and cryptocurrencies? I just would like to know. My audience would like to know.
To be frank with you, I'm so busy with my own business that investing myself on various cryptocurrencies is really not part of my agenda. Of course, I have a bit of Bitcoin and a bit of the top 10 type of cryptocurrencies, but I'm not an active investor for the reason of what I'm doing also. But of course, I have an opinion on this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does Geoff Ira does outside of work?
Outside of works, my live event is really my family. It's really re-energizing myself in the jungle of Singapore.
In the what?
In the jungle of Singapore, Makrichi, Bukit Timah. Where I'm doing lots of, or at least 2 or 3 jogging, running per week. That's really my safe zone to refresh myself and to, I would say, outsource my stress.
Yeah, I think we all do that. Singapore being Singapore, right?
For sure.
And it's a safe place, and even I do that hiking. A lot.
Wonderful.
During weekends.
That's great. That's great.
Yes. So, what are you looking for next?
I think for next is really to end up wonderfully Trade Together's Q4. We have the chance, as time goes by, to have large family offices and clients placing trust in us.
Right.
It started really with some of our prestigious investors, and of course XDC Network is, XVC Tech is one of them. But the fact to now gain trust of almost centuries family offices is something which is priceless for us, and we hope to serve even more.
So as closing remarks, I think our audience would like to know, where can they find you for business opportunities?
Physically, you can meet us at UE Square, Clemenceau Avenue, WeWork. That's where we are primarily. Then on the website, you can look at us at advisor@tradetogether.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Mainly, I'm not too. I'm not quite often on Twitter, X. I'm more on LinkedIn. So don't hesitate to contact me, and also our staff, Ben Chan, Joseph. We are easily reachable. You can really contact us pretty easily. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing those contact us. It's very key because obviously after this podcast, many are going to reach out to you, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. Please come. Happy to discuss.
I would like to thank you for spending your time. Obviously, it's a working day, and giving the time to us to share your company, your product, your solution, your live with us. Thank you so much. Any closing remarks before we wrap up?
I love the background of this podcast. Be legendary. I'm working on being legendary for Trade Together community, for investors. I really love the time I spent with you just now. Thank you so much, and see you really soon, everyone.
Thank you, Geoff. Thanks for being on XDC Podcast. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. We'll be back again with another speaker soon. So stay tuned and take care of yourself. Thank you.